I don't know how the fuck I'll do this, but
If you're listening to this, then you're probably watching whatever monstrosity I'd call a video. A YouTube video, to be more frank. Really, the only reason I wrote this, because I want to try something new, because recently, well not recently, but still, I learned you should never put your eggs into one basket. And if my homies are watching this video ain't meant for you. It's for me and a bunch of other strangers. So yeah, screw you niggas. Nah, I love y'all. Don't worry. Anyways, I want to talk about culture. Disclaimer, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so whatever I get wrong, I get wrong. Whatever I get right, then I'll be. Alright, let's continue with the video. I recently was listening to Kendrick Lamar's latest album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, which is, by the way, a 10 out of 10 album. Don't at me, there's no misses in that bitch. Perfect, chef's kiss. Anyways, one of the topics the album talks about is the culture we're living in right now. In my view though, not necessarily about how the culture influences us or what's being influenced in the culture, but more so on why that influence is there. Kendrick Lamar talks about his past trauma, love, healing himself, and life just lifing. But before the album, he released his single The Hard Five, which basically is him saying fuck the culture with all its toxicity and messed upness, but thank y'all for loving me. I'm out though. Peace. The album though is him saying I'm fucked up. I am not your savior. I tried, but ish. Kendrick is tired of the culture putting this crown on him and viewing him as the messiah of hip-hop, because really, he's also affected by it as well. He's a victim as well, and now the perpetrator is trying to use him as its weapon. But he refuses to let that shit happen to him, for he also realizes, oh shit, this ain't the first time this has happened. For his brothers, or the people around him in general, have also been the victims who later have become part of the problem, which ultimately leads them to be the actual culture they try to go against or try to change. A good example I can probably use is someone who used to be one of my favorite YouTube creators ever, but not anymore. Sneeko.
But before we continue any further,
we gotta first of what is culture, or what does culture mean? Okay, culture, the art and other manifestations of human intellectual achievements regarded collectivity. 20th century popular culture, that's an example. Second meaning, the ideas, customs, and social behavior of a particular people or society. Example, Afro-Caribbean culture. Since we got that out of the way, let's go back to Sneeko. If you don't know who Sneeko is, then there's Google for that. But let me tell you who Sneeko is and or was to me. Sneeko was someone who expressed his ideas in an open-minded but very artistic way that made me, the viewer of his content, feel like I'm watching the reincarnation of Leonardo da Vinci. Now it just feels like I'm watching another woke politician telling me what's right and what's wrong. He was once somebody I thought was the change to the culture, a gateway or inspiration to a future of free-minded creativity. Now it feels like I'm watching a Twitter user rant about the government or some shit like that. The thing about Sneeko is he keeps on contradicting himself, because he was somebody who used to be a rebel against who he is right now. For he now tries to make everyone agree on his ideas by always trying to be the loudest. And sadly, this is the culture we're now living in. A culture where you are always right and everyone else is wrong. A culture with no honor for one another. A culture where we, and I'm a victim to this as well, are afraid to give love because you'd be perceived as weak. A culture where you're always supposed to be the best. You're always supposed to be on top, but we forget to help those who are under or who have less than us. We live in a culture with almost no sense of community in it. We live in a culture where niggas ain't got no game and chicks are hoes. Everybody got issues, but very few are willing to handle those issues. But I'm human, so I understand that shit ain't easy. Like, I still got issues I've been trying to fix for years, and sometimes it feels like I'm stuck, but I still got faith that it will all work out in the end. The only thing I gotta do is focus on the present. I gotta focus on what I do right now.
That'll get me close on who I want to be.
And that is what's also missing in this culture. Presence. Sure, you gotta prepare for the future. Make sure your stuff ain't fucked up later, or it's way better than it is now. Make sure you don't commit the same mistakes that you did in the past. But actually, most people don't do that. We actually focus on the past more than the present or future. That's why we keep on repeating these cycles. Okay, yeah, now it just feels like I'm attacking myself. I ain't gonna lie. But that's for another time.
Yeah, part 2 is coming through, hopefully.
So in conclusion, I'm blaming society for my own insecurities. Yeah, I'm fucked up, so it's what else. Might do more scripted videos, cause yeah.
Cool.